been a great honor to work as an Athanasian Scholar with Dr. Spencer in 1, 2, and 3 in Contemporary, because he is a humble person, but he is a foremost scholar and author, and because of his series. So the fact that he is retiring, it's wonderful that you're taking this class before he does. I'm saying that because I've been here 9 years, and they are remarkable courses. Now, a couple things came to mind when he was speaking that I want to say. You have a short time. Time management and prioritizing are, I can see you're all very intelligent, and I'm very encouraged by the future of the church looking at everyone in this class. But time management, you've got 6 weeks, literally. Well, 7, because you have an extra week. So whenever somebody comes to me and they have these 4 choices, these topic choices, I say, tell me about your background, what are your experiences in terms of baptism, communion. And so I've already got 2 students, and I just want to make a point. They may not stick with this, but tonight we discussed Tunde, is that how you say your name? The possibility, since his background is Baptist, of discussing the 3 concepts of baptism and the pros and cons. And then Peter, who has moved from quite several traditions to either consider, he is considering the prospect, I hope you don't mind me paraphrasing what you said here. You don't, do you? Either communion or baptism, because he can make an extraordinary point of his paper. And I always say, pick something that's really near and dear to your heart. Either something someone's grappling with, so you can be well educated and know how to defend scripturally or with required reading, and then show the pros and cons when you are speaking to a person about the topic. Now, this is like practical theology. This is the essence of practical theology. Dr. Spencer's class helps you to evolve in pastoring and teaching the Word, and he does it very systematically. I have great hope for the next person, and I pray for them because they're big shoes to fill here. So let me give you my numbers. And anyone, okay, I have a master's in theology, and then I trained in teaching English language learners. So I'm working with Peter on that reason. Peter is a theologian already, but he's working in a second language. You have a wonderful opportunity. Tony is not only brilliant, but he is Korean, so he can help you if you are working, in your transitioning and you're Korean. I'm not saying I would not. I've had so many fabulous students who are Korean, but you've got the opportunity here to work with Tony if you're Korean. And I would recommend that. And I want to say that in the past 9 years, I started out with strategies for English language learners. And now, because Dr. Spencer and his wife are such gracious and extraordinary people, we are developing a book through HPA on empowering Christian educators to teach English language learners. So these past 10 years are my practical application of the theory that I studied. And I want to thank all of you for that, because as I pulled my chapter together, I realized how much I was doing. And it's important to have that, because the multicultural church is upon us. You represent it. And teaching them English so they can move forward in their studies in America is a critical issue. So, let me give you okay, I do work by email and text. So this means that you can email me, but text me afterwards and remind me that you've emailed me. Okay, if that's okay with you. And a lot of people don't want to call, so I tend to text and not email, not call, because I think some people find that difficult in this day and age. If you're pastoring and you're raising a family and you're working full time, time management is the big thing you have to deal with in this class. really make a decision right away on what you want to work on, and then get your outline in. Why is that important? Tony, I know I'm taking a lot of time, but you'll find this is important, is that don't be afraid of making a mistake, because it's the only way you're going to know how far you are from being right. I don't ever grade on a first draft. Dr. Spencer doesn't see it. I give a potential grade based, we're usually identical, but I just want to see where you're headed. So don't be afraid to turn it in right or wrong. I suspect with many of you, your theological background is sufficient that you're not going to miss the mark. What usually happens in a classroom like this is they're resisting the temptation to get up and preach. He doesn't want a preached statement. I always say, when you make your statement, and you said you contradicted this, so maybe you can clarify what you meant. I always say, back it up with a scripture, required reading, or creed, or anything. Why? Because it trains your mind not to preach, but to...
Can't go wrong.
That's right. In other words, it's safer. Tony, you understand. In other words, I had brilliant people last course who simply were preaching, and that you could be a brilliant preacher and get a B- for $960 a month. I would say get the A and do it according to the course requirements. Okay, I'm finished. Let me just give you my okay, on here, yeah. Let me give you my number, and you can text me. I try to silence my phone at night, but I will pick them up and reply. And then all lowercase. I always said, because I only work with Dr. Spencer, go with him, he's the best. But, he's not going to take all 13 of you, so if you're working in a second language, I'll be glad to help you. And the last thing I'm going to say is, every year, I pray for God to give every student the supernatural aptitude that he gave Daniel in the court of the Babylonian king. And all my students get A's. Do they not?
They do.
Now, of course, I ride them until they do. On the other hand, it's because I pray for everybody, not just my students. I pray for everybody because God is here with you. He's going to show you what you need to do to really get this material where he wants it to be. And for a while there, people were thinking I was doing my students' work. I wasn't, because and I'm not bragging, every student I've taken on has gone on and done better. If I was doing their work, that would not be happening. I have really prayed for my students and worked hard with them. And it's been a beautiful process. So I'm happy to work with you if you need help.